So let's look at factoring trinomials or quadratics where a, the leading term, is greater than 1, or the leading coefficient of our first term. So here we need to use the A times C method, in which sometimes I use an X chart here, where I do my A times C in this top piece, the B term, which is -8. That's my A, my B, and my C. So if I multiply A times C, 3 times a positive 4, we get a positive 12. Again, we have this sign guide. If I have a plus plus or a minus plus in my trinomial, then we are combining. So if I have a minus here and a plus sign there, to get a positive 4, I'm going to multiply 2 negative numbers, and they will combine into our negative B term. So if I see minus plus in the trinomial, there will be 2 minus signs in the binomial factors. So what 2 factors of 12 will combine into 8? Again, I'm combining my factors. So there's 12 times 1 would combine into 13. 4 times 3 would combine into 7. But 6 times 2 makes 12 and combines into 8. So -6 times -2 will make positive 12. And that's how we break up our middle term. I'll do that over here. So in the A times C method, we use factor by grouping. So the 2 factors we chose that make our A times C but combine into the B term, that's -6x minus 2x. And we carry down the first and last terms. So from here, we factor by grouping, in which we split down the middle, and we factor on the left side, factor out a 3x. 3x squared divided by 3x is just x. -6x divided by 3x is -2. We must bring down this sign, so we factor out a negative, and out of 2x and 4, we can factor out a 2. -2x divided by -2 is positive x. 4 divided by -2 is -2. If our parentheses match, that's a sign that we did this correctly. So our factors are x minus 2, and the pieces we factored out, 3x minus 2. And we could always FOIL this out to make sure that we end up back at our given trinomial. I always tell my students that the mistakes are usually made in the O and I of the FOIL, so we can at least check that quickly. -2x on the outside, -2 times 3x is -6x, and sure enough, that combines into our B term of -8x. I have a couple more we can look at. Here we have a minus followed by a minus. Anytime this last term is negative in our sign guide, whether it's minus minus or plus minus, we will have one positive and one negative sign in the binomial factors. So we can start to set it up. And again, we're going to use the A times C method. 4 times negative 25 is negative 100. I'm looking for factors of negative 100 that have a difference. And again, it's this sign which tells me I'm looking for a difference of negative 15. So to get negative 15, I'm sorry, you can't see all of that. There we go. To get negative 15, I need two factors that multiply into 100, negative 100. So a few things are going to make 100. There's 100 times 1, 50 times 2, 25 times 4. So, and 20 times 5. And again, since we will have different signs, I am looking for a difference, not to combine. 101 have a difference of 99. 50 and 2 have a difference of 48. 21 for 25 and 4. But 20 and 5 have a difference of 15. And again, a big concept here. If my B term is negative, then I want my larger factor to be negative. If the B term is positive, then the larger factor needs to be positive. Here, our B term is negative, so 20 gets the negative sign, and 5 gets the positive sign. So these are the two factors that multiply into negative 100, but have a difference of negative 15. So again, that's how we split up the middle term. Now, it doesn't matter which order we put these in. It's up to you. If you want to factor the 4x squared with the minus 20x, then we can do that. I like to look ahead and see how I want to factor it. So we have, again, we split up the middle term into negative 20x plus 5x. All we've done so far is changed negative 15x to this. And now we can factor by grouping, and we will have our answer. Again, pick whichever side you want to factor. Over here, we bring down the plus sign. Out of 5x and negative 25, I can factor out a 5. So divide both of these terms by 5, and the result goes in the parenthesis. Out of 4x squared minus 20x, I can factor out a 4x. 4x squared divided by 4x is x. Negative 20x divided by 4x. The x's would cancel, and we would have minus 5. So if the parentheses match, we did it right, or we can assume that we did it correctly. And then the 4x plus 5 goes in the other parenthesis. If these don't match, I suggest switching the b terms and just trying again, or how you break up the b terms. So we have x minus 5 times 4x plus 5. And we can see if we check our O and I of the FOIL, 5x minus 20x is negative 15x. So last one we'll look at. Sometimes you will have a GCF. You should always look for a greatest common factor amongst your terms. And here we have one. 15, 27, and 6 are all divisible by 3. So divide each term by 3, and we get 5x squared minus 9x minus 2, with a GCF of 3 out front. And we cannot forget this 3. This needs to be part of our answer. So again, we can kind of set up the bones of our answer. I know I'll have my GCF of 3 out front. Since I have a minus sign here, I know I'll have one positive and one negative. So this trinomial is easier to factor. Some students will forget or not see the GCF, multiply 15 times negative 6, and find factors that have a difference of 27. But this is much easier to factor. A times C gives us negative 10. Factors of negative 10 that combine into negative 9 will have a difference of negative 9 because one will be positive, one will be negative. So it's not going to be 5 and 2 that have a difference of negative 9. It's going to be negative 10 and positive 1. If my B term is negative, my bigger factor needs to be negative. So we have 5x squared minus 10x plus 1x minus 2. Sometimes students forget to put the x as they break up the middle term, but break it up into 2 x terms. And now we can factor by grouping. On the left, I can factor out a 5x, leaving me with x minus 2. On the right, if there's nothing to factor out, well, first of all, we bring down the sign. If there is nothing to factor out, no GCF, we just factor out a 1. We have to write that 1. And x minus 2 divided by 1 is just x minus 2. So there's the x minus 2. The parentheses match. We write it once. The pieces we factored out are the 5x and the plus 1.